everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Seercast. This is episode number 67, again. Our first one kind of maybe got broken. Maybe. Anyways, I am ePiKnight, and with...
And it also broke another thing.
Yeah. I'm ePiKnight, and with me today is Fang.
Augmented needles.
Jeez.
Make it happen.
Lime.
So we're talking about the mounts this time, right?
Yes, of course. Runic.
Nobody will ever know what augmented needles were.
It's a damn shame.
That's
Gina?
great.
I'll say it again. Freaking Greg.
We have the return of Siroki.
The weather today in Alaska? Cloudy, with a chance of orange.
And Jascertes.
NXT hype.
NXT. Alright,
But only in Feb.
Yeah.
so before we get started, really quickly, there's a couple of announcements. First of all, go check us out on Twitter at Seercast. Go check out our blog, seercast.wordpress.com. Also, Lime, I believe you have a couple of videos that are worth mentioning.
Yeah, there was going to be a Behind the Sword for God Wars Dungeon 2, but that also imploded. I'll be working on fixing the audio for that, but I'm not sure how much success I'll have and how good the quality is. So even if it's not, I can still use the footage for some other discussion if we want to do an in-depth discussion about God Wars Dungeon 2 mechanics.
Yeah. In the meanwhile, Krondus and I, Krondus is not in the Seercast, recorded like a little discussion thing about it, which I really should have put up on my channel like a week ago. So that'll probably go up. Yeah, and then I put up a 10 worst quests video because some quests are shit.
And I only agree with like half of them, so I may make my own.
Was number
I
number
would
one
do that.
Deadliest Catch?
No,
Oh,
it was
was it?
Ratcatchers.
Oh, it's
Oh,
Rat
of
Catchers? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, right, and
that's
Beneath
fair.
Cursed Tides should be number 2.
That it is.
It was-
Ah, yes! Got him! Alright, anyways, moving on. So, we have a lot to talk about. We want to make it quick. So, yeah, it's Seercast form. So, we're
Yeah,
going to go
because
ahead
it's
and
pretty late.
get started with talking about invention here. So, this last month we saw another invention update. Yeah, I guess another invention update is the way of putting it. Invention 2.0, which adds the ability to augment hatchets and crystal fishing rods. It also...
But let's be real, nobody augments hatchets.
I do.
It's not
I
Yeah.
do.
The hatchet's
not
kind
worth
of
it to
flop.
disassemble them. The bonuses are nice,
This is true.
but the
The
invention
hatchet's
is
kind of flopped, but the fishing rods, they're doing okay. Everyone's waterfall fishing.
Everybody calls it invention now, which I think is awesome.
Finvention?
Yeah.
Finvention.
Yeah,
That,
No,
'Cause you
people
just
call it
fish.
fishvention.
gives great XP.
that works.
I mean,
True.
like, in a way, I'm happy about that, and this goes back to the whole augmented sewing machine concept that we had. But I really wish that there was an artisan skill version of invention.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I'm waiting. Like,
I mean, I guess I kind of like that they finally got around to doing this because, I mean, before if the major method of training invention was all combat, well then for all those, whatever people who don't do combat, it's like, okay, well, actually fantastic.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a
Yeah.
nice alternate way of doing things. It's pretty AFK, and while it's slower because you can't do a body or legs while doing it, it's cheaper, and like I said, it's almost completely AFK. So it's a nice, relaxing way to do some invention.
Yeah.
and
And
besides, there's still some time for there to be like an augmented smithing set or something like that.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be
to
nice.
come out in the future, or an augmented needle, which is a sewing machine.
Yep.
Totally
And
agree.
so it happens again. But yeah, it's good. I like what they've done, and it lets you train multiple skills at once in ways that we obviously haven't been able to. Like, I'm going and training, like you're making jokes about hatchets, but I'm training woodcutting while training invention, and it's great.
Yeah.
Like,
Whatever works.
I actually
Yeah, nope.
stopped training woodcutting when they announced that release. I'm like, well, why would I
Yeah.
bother doing this now when I'm gonna just do it later?
Yeah, the reason I'm kind of taunting woodcutting is mostly just because it's 2.5 times slower to get a completed augmented item than fishing is, which is like ridiculous. They need to address that.
That does seem a
True.
little bit
But
strange.
it's nice for anybody that needs to train either of those skills, just because hey, now you can kind of 2 for 1.
Yep.
Good stuff.
More or less, the only reason I've been fishing for like the past like whatever.
Yeah.
Because of the fishing.
I mean,
I've gotten
really-
like
Yep. Go.
I've gotten like 5 million fishing XP from this already.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm closing in on 99.
Nice.
Lime
Being
with
me,
more
I
than
have,
You're
Nice.
further than me.
Go,
being
Runic.
me, I have refused to train invention with skilling, and am currently killing things for invention as I
That's,
do.
that's fair. I mean, is it
That's-
so? Killing things is technically still faster, right?
It's
It's
faster, but
Much,
costs.
much faster.
That's-
But yeah, it costs much
yeah.
more.
Finishing a fishing rod takes about 2 hours, give or take, with all boosts. Finishing a weapon takes a little bit less time than that.
And,
And then you
the other
also
stuff.
can do the body and the legs.
Yep.
So you
And
have
in-
access to higher tiers than 70 with the weapons.
Yep.
And the armor. So all in all, it's like 3 times faster doing combat.
Yeah. Also worth mentioning with this update, they made tier 70 items give 15% less experience, and tier 90 items get 15% more experience when disassembling and siphoning. Which
People
is,
were mad.
Yeah, well, people are mad
I'm
because
pretty happy with it.
because some idiots sit there and like banked, how much was it? It was like 50 crystal something.
Yeah, somebody had 50 plus crystal halberds in their bank ready to go, and it would have gotten them 120 if they had one more that they were in the middle of finishing up right before the patch hit.
Sucks to suck.
And then they're
It does suck.
I
to
just-
suck.
laughing. I thought it was hilarious.
I mean that's especially
I had
because
no sympathy.
if you think about it, like that's just kind of dumb as it is. Aside from the
It's wasting like drain charge reduction. It's wasting unlocks. You're missing out on all
Yeah,
of
it's
that like
It
excellent
is
experience
so incredibly
from.
wasteful.
Yeah, you're missing out on all the XP from the discoveries, and
be
you're
honest,
missing
you
out on
could get
getting
free
extra.
XP. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're missing out on gaining all the inspiration, and you're gonna have to go grind that out somewhere else.
Yep.
It's just bad. It was a
Yeah.
bad plan.
Basically,
Whoever
it's
that
really
was.
idiotic.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
but they got paid. They got punished for it because apparently there is justice occasionally in the world. Anyways,
Timbo.
God damn it, Timbo. They also decreased charge drain on everything, which still isn't good enough for Walter. But that's
Yeah, they
that's
didn't do
okay.
that enough. Walter is still mad.
Needs more.
Oh
I
well.
feel like they could do more, but it's a start.
Yeah, it is a start,
That's
and
right.
Yeah.
it's a tough balancing act because at a certain point you want the energy to be worth quite a bit. Like
Yeah.
they honestly want divination to be kind of lucrative when you train it up, and
Yep.
Oh, it's incredibly lucrative.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah, Timbo actually made a fantastic post on Reddit a couple days ago where somebody was talking about this, and he basically said, "Oh, look, here's the balance. Here is we can either keep reducing it until energy is as cheap as it was before invention,
Mhm.
but then people before invention were complaining about how useless divination was, how non-lucrative it was.
yeah,
So the fact that this is powered up divination so much as a moneymaker is a really valuable thing for the skill. So it's a
is.
hard balance to strike because yes, training this invention with weapons, the drain is expensive,
Mhm.
but that's because of demand.
yeah, and the bonuses are small so as not to break the tier system, but
Yeah,
and because they're small, it means that it doesn't technically monetarily pay for itself once you get to the high levels, which is what Walter complains about all the time. Hi, Walter.
True.
But
Just to say, I'm in Walter's boat here. Like, I have augmented pretty much all my gear with top end perks and all that, and it costs me just a disgusting amount of money.
That is true.
yeah,
I think
and
there's-
that money isn't just from the drain reduction, but just getting the rare components you need to get the good perks.
yeah,
That
Yeah.
stuff is
But then
really
again,
expensive.
you only have to get those really good perks once.
Yeah. And then
I'd
you
much
also
rather-
have the chance of getting them from scavenging, which is an amazing perk for that.
I'd much rather have that cost be quote unquote upfront, where you are paying maybe a little bit much to try to get the good perks, but then the upkeep isn't as much. But I do think they wanted to increase the energy prices for sure. But isn't also another part of this that when you augment degradable items, they are no longer degradable, and so they have to keep. They have to maintain that balance as well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors going
No
on.
longer
Yeah, and
paying
they
the
wanna
degrade
prop
costs
up-
now.
And they want to prop up the price of a lot of the God Wars dungeon kind of boss items.
Yeah.
With
Well,
because
they have
just
they're-
look at
done that
how-
really well with
Look at how
Invincible.
huge Barrows and GWD gear
Yep.
jumped, and Crystal gear,
Oh
and
yeah.
all that.
Absolutely.
Invention came
Hand
out, and that
cannons.
stuff
Hand
lapped.
cannons went tenfold price.
well, that was
That was
for a
because of
different
a
reason.
bug. But yeah.
But yeah.
Well, panic buy hand cannons.
Anyways,
No,
this
hand
actually
cannons are
Well,
still
not only
top
that,
like
but
five.
because one of the best perks is locked behind hand cannons. So now it's 10 times the cost. It would have balanced
crackling
out.
is-
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but yeah, speaking of God Wars Dungeon, we're going to move on, and we're going to go straight into talking about God Wars Dungeon 2, which was also released last month. That was the major release of last month, and
It was the headliner.
it was the headliner, and it began with the what is it, Tales of the God Wars? That was the name of the.
Those are the
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
it was the inaugural run for this new Tales format.
Mhm.
And
which is basically mini quests with cutscenes.
well, I like the idea, but
I do too.
all the cuts, and we
Yeah.
ranted at this for a little bit
I'd like
last
it to
time.
continue.
But all of the cutscenes were a dude standing and talking at the player or camera, and literally nothing else. I feel like there could have been much better use of that cutscene. Like,
Yeah.
maybe them actually fighting instead of just saying, "Oh, I hate this person so much."
Yeah, that kind of disappointed me. Like, hey, we're gonna gather up in the middle here. We hate
And it's
each
like,
other.
yeah,
we
I
want to
hate
strangle
you,
each other.
and I
So
hate
let's stand
you.
here and yell at each
Let's
other.
stand here
Right.
and have a civil discussion
And
about
then
what we're
run
going
a-
to do to each other.
And then everyone
My
going.
favorite was the two
politely-
Zamarakian twin furies standing there telling each other, "No, we can't attack him." Like, fuck yeah, you can.
Just
Zamaraki
attack
did
him.
Do
it.
what you want, girl.
Go for it.
All right, go Lime. Sorry.
And like it was off-putting, and the characters didn't feel endearing, and the entire time it felt like the gods were the real ones with the grudge match instead of the generals, and that just goes against the whole point of
Well, to
everything.
be fair, we're supposed to go
Yeah.
and kill the generals, so I don't know if we really want them to be too endearing.
That is true. I
Well, I mean,
actually
like-
appreciate that none of them were particularly likable. They all were kind of
Dickish.
flawed in
But
one
they're
way or
not. Yeah, but they don't make
like
you
they.
like them as characters.
That's true. I don't mind that though. Like,
Like
Griggs is psychopath. Vindicta's like just kind of brainwashed. The Furies are evil and seeking revenge, and they even managed to find the one like relatively not likable Serenus by using the Cyware, which was
Yeah.
pretty clever.
Yeah. So
Um, Yeah.
Go on, Runic.
I was going to go into the whole thing because Bang mentioned the Cyware, Hellware. I was going to go into the whole thing, how he's the Hunleaf character that was.
Yeah,
He absorbed the
he killed
point of the Hun.
the Hunleaf.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Whatever, Hunleaf.
Which was like this ancient monster on Tardiad.
And that monster was sealed away by Skillage, which was the character named after the submitter for the quest.
Is that why he's able to turn into a man-bear elk? Is that the
Mhm.
idea?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is why Aware can transform. He
I
used
believe you mean elf bear
secret
elf?
elf nature magics to shapeshift.
Oh yeah.
Elf.
I'm
bear
wondering
elf.
if Dragex stuck it in there as like a jokey teaser to shapeshifting. 'Cause you know how they wanted
Oh.
to do that as an elite skill.
Oh, jeez.
Elf Quest.
Anyways,
Um,
I mean, like, if we want Prif to be even more of a never leave here, I guess we can have shape shifting too. Why not? No. But
Yeah,
anyways,
let's get sailing, cabbage
alright,
picking,
wait.
and shapeshifting on the same update.
Can we also talk about the lore fill?
Yes, go.
Can we?
Yeah,
Can we?
go for
All
it.
right. There was this whole thing seemed like it was going to go pretty well. Besides the fact that the cutscenes weren't that great, but then like there was this whole theory about how like the heart being all the way in the desert, it just makes so much sense because Timikin would have known that was there, and so would Zeros, and then everyone would be able to converge at that point. And then this one line came out and it broke everything, and it was that it was a secret to only the Elder Gods. And
Who was it that said that?
it was the trailer for the dungeon.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was. And that really breaks things because
I'm gonna.
A,
That's not.
somehow all of these people who have grudge matches against each other and somehow we're tracking each other without anyone knowing with giant armies for
thousands
4,000
of
years.
Yeah.
They all converge at the exact same place at the exact same time, and this place nobody ever knew it was there, but suddenly has really big importance because Anima is Hazelmere and
flowing
some trees said it a couple times in the Fifth Age, and suddenly everyone knows about metaphysics and everything.
Damn metaphysics. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think the one thing I do like is the idea that like some sort of massive earthquake shook it out, because I'm hoping that that earthquake and the way the anima's flowing is just another kind of something's wrong with the world. So that
Also,
at least works.
An earthquake, you mean like a giant cliff moving?
Yeah, pretty much. A sinkhole, a giant sinkhole that rose up. So a rise hole.
Dungeoneering confirmed. Oh, sorry. But I will.
believe that would be engineering.
Right.
Engineering. Yeah.
But yeah, if it was in the what is it, the intro trailer, I am more inclined to believe that it is a hype creating mechanism and not actually lore.
Yeah.
That's kind of been their excuse for anything that doesn't quite make sense. Hey, it's here for hype. Like, people were complaining about the April BTS and how some lines in that were a little off. And Rowley straight up said, we didn't write that. It's really just kind of there for, this exciting thing is coming out.
Yep.
Be excited. Don't take anything written in a BTS as like that has straight lore implications as like completely canon until it turns up in game officially.
Yeah, especially because the what they're marketing the God Wars Dungeon 2 for is generally not the lore crowd. I mean, yeah, obviously there's some carryover, but this is a PVM dungeon, and for the most part, this is who they're
for
targeting.
the love of God, it had Timikin's symbol on it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just
sort of. Yeah. It's kind of Tumikin's symbol, but it's not quite.
It was enough to leave the door open for it, and then nobody knew about this dungeon, and that creates a whole ton of problems.
I was really, really hoping it would be linked to Tumikin in some way. Thought that symbol really kind of screamed, "Hey, Tumikin's here!"
Yeah, that would have been kind of cool.
And
I mean, I honestly tend to ignore the whole, nobody knew about it except the Elder Gods because it's not in-game, so I can comfortably ignore it. But the fact that Tumikin wasn't really included in this lore-wise does kind of feel a little...
Yeah. Even though
I'm
he
really
definitely had a grudge against some of these people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm hoping the lore journals do something about that, because they're planning to introduce some lore journal drops from each of the bosses.
That's like this week or something, isn't it? Or next week?
I think.
I think that was the coming soon-ish, not the coming next week.
Oh,
Okay.
I see.
Yeah, they
all right.
basically confirmed 2 sets of updates. These are the ones coming really soon. We have these done. They're ready to go. And then these are the ones that we're working on.
Yep. All right.
So let's talk about the bosses.
Yes, let's do.
And the dungeon.
Yeah, so
because
we'll start.
Interesting things are happening in the dungeon.
Yeah, we'll start with the dungeon itself. So the dungeon is huge, and it's if you haven't gone to there, just go in there and just run around and bring combat gear, because things are aggressive occasionally.
I'll try to eat you.
Occasionally, like it's weird.
There are gigantic
sometimes
mobs.
Yeah.
And people are actually actively running around.
They follow the rules of aggression that we see in other slave monsters, in that they only attack one at a time.
Yep.
That's kind of how aggression works.
They run around though, which is pretty cool. But unfortunately, they run around and don't do anything but fight each other, which is really unfortunate because in the initial announcement, they made it sound like you were going around capturing points for some sort of purpose.
Actually, I think I can't. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that sometimes, like if certain those war bands, if they make it like through.
But it's entirely
anything.
It's literally, hey,
and it feels like it should be doing something, but it doesn't really do anything, and that's
it's cosmetic.
It's disappointing.
It
I was
feels
really excited for like a line and capture points and control them for bonuses, la-di-da. Nope.
That would be cool if they did have some weird wobby faction bonuses near the banners and all that.
I was really hoping to offer something.
It was initially planned on the live stream. They did mention it got too big for the scope of the dungeon. It could be something maybe they'll add later, but the framework was definitely there for it.
I wanted them to add it later, but when they were talking about the things they didn't have scope to do, that was one of the things they mentioned. They said they had no plans to add bonuses for that, which makes me sad.
Yeah, I mean that's hard. That's pretty hard to do, and
unless you did it as like a reputation thing, so like you get reputation with that faction, and if that faction has control of that area, you get a fancy bonus.
That's how it'd have to be.
Love if you were representing a faction in an area controlled by the faction, any kills you got were counted as 2x kill count.
Yeah, they've already done some nice things with the kill count mechanics, where if you're able to chain
really cool
kills
stuff.
It makes it
the kill streak
way quicker.
Awesome.
Like you can rip through everything in the dungeon is level 100 plus, but you can rip through if you can start chaining kills and get that bonus going. You can get through kill count way
It's just
better.
long enough.
It's really spectacular. I was really pleased with how well that was balanced.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
And
of balance,
it is kind of
one thing to add. This is probably the cleanest PVM release Jagex has ever had in terms of bug stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like minimal bugs, very little to complain.
That's probably
quick response.
That's probably
on the
because
problems.
Go
I was very impressed.
That's probably because the bosses themselves were extremely. They're simple, but they're interesting.
Yes.
And that means A, you don't have a lot of bugs, and B, you don't have to have 70 stages, and C, you don't have to memorize a ton of mechanics that you just can't keep all in your head. These bosses are simple enough that they're fun, but they're not development-wise heavy and not mental-wise heavy.
And there's almost no RNG for the bosses too. So the bosses
they all use actual consistent rotations.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which is good on
good.
Runic talked about this. You've mentioned that you like the way that this is set up.
I like the way that they're consistent. I mean, I like my bosses like Rots and Araxor that are very random and consistently unpredictable. But it's also nice to have a bunch of bosses that you can consistently predict their rotation every round.
True.
And all of the GW2
very
bosses
reminiscent.
do this now.
It's very reminiscent of God Wars Dungeon 1.
Yeah, since we recorded
Exactly,
our failed attempt at this podcast, I went back and done a ton of kills on Greg, and Greg has a consistent rotation as well.
They of course
All
did
one
fix
who-
a bunch of this on Monday, so
Yeah, they
And
did.
the only boss who is inconsistent in terms of rotation is Hellweir, and that is because he is bugged.
yeah.
Yeah. Which is funny too, because
And I
once
also-
he's bugged, he'll be as consistent as the others, which is great.
Exactly.
No, actually, he's not. Trust me, when he's bugged, he's not.
No. He will be. He has a rotation that he's supposed to follow. He just isn't currently.
He skips some auto attacks sometimes before he does
Yeah.
the will bleed attack. That's the only thing I've noticed. And of course the wolves being bugged.
Oh wow, sorry. How is the dungeon for non-PVM, like people who aren't really into the PVM scene? Is it easy for
No.
those
There's
types
no
to pick it up?
There's nothing for them.
Boss-wise,
There's
none of the
not
bosses
really
are
anything.
ridiculously hard, but they do require higher tier gear. My biggest complaint, actually, is the fact that the dungeon is literally bosses and nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God Wars
there-
Dungeon 1 excelled at being not just a boss update, but a Slayer update as well.
Mm-hmm.
And this just has a bunch of monsters, even a bunch of pre-existing Slayer monsters, that are just there and drop just the dust.
Yeah. That's the one.
No drop, very little experience. They just feel like they were added in as an afterthought.
Yeah, it's the one thing
Yeah,
that I
like-
feel is a bit strange about the place. Like, I love the way that the place looks fantastic graphically. It looks great.
It's gonna look even better in NXT.
Yes, it
But
But it's
will.
very
run even
it's
better.
very wonkily populated, and that is a thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's kind of wonkily populated is a great way of putting it. And
Like-
then nothing drops anything. So there's no reason to like go in there and kill stuff if you're not going to actually boss. And I know
But on
think that they were planning on adding in Slayer stuff and maybe adding in drops at a later date. But
I made a post on the feedback thread that Ramen posted, and he replied saying it is something they would be willing to look into.
Okay.
So hopefully
They
that's
consider it.
something they do.
Yeah.
The one benefit these guys do have though is the going after the reputation, which is awesome. I think the reputation system used here is spectacular.
Mhm.
It's really, really good.
Yeah, I mentioned this on the other thread as well.
Yeah.
No, sorry, the other podcast as well. The reputation system, they introduced a reputation system with raids, and I like the idea that they're introducing reputation systems with all the new PVM content that's coming out. Because it
It's
gives
just so
it gives
good.
you a different way to engage in the content other than just, farming the bosses, even.
Yep.
Very
Like,
quickly.
Not only does it give you a new way to interact with it, but it rewards you beyond just the RNG for continuing to stick with the content, which is great.
Very quickly, before we move on to something else, can we take a quick moment to talk about bounties? Because I think they...
Yes. Yeah, that
Yeah,
goes
they're
along,
pretty
right
good.
along with reputation.
Yep.
Yeah,
In
but it's
fact,
going to be
it's
really
directly-
quickly.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I like the idea of the bounties because, it just gives you another reason to just interact with the content. It gives you a reason not to just constantly side with one god in the entire thing, so you can build up reputation with all of them. It gives you a ton of unlocks and such of so and so. Does anyone else have anything to say? Like, I know it's not that big of an addition, but I do like its addition.
I
Yep.
like.
That was
Yeah.
really repetitive.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I like all the rewards that it offers. I like what it does for the bosses. I like what it does for the kill counts. I even like all the cosmetics. It's great.
Mhm.
Nothing to complain about.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And the bounty
Based
thing is
on
a
a
nice
nice-
the bounty thing is a nice anti-frustration mechanic for the reputation thing.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All in all, I think this is probably one of the best PVM updates they've done in a long time.
Yeah.
So, Runic wants to talk about
Yeah, there's
invention
one-
add-on
One
additions.
more thing that came with
Yep.
this update that kind of went a little under the radar, I feel, is that they introduced 4 new invention components and 4 new invention perks. And you get...
I don't think we have time to go through all of them right
Yeah,
now, but
we don't really have time to go through what each one does, but I just kind of want to bring up the idea that I like that they're using invention to
Oh, yeah.
introduce new types of rewards now. They don't have to just give you straight drops. They can give you they can basically drop components,
Mhm.
and you can use components to make perks.
Yeah.
Or drop
Another
items
nice
that
thing is it
create
adds
components.
extra value to the drops, like to the unique drops.
Exactly.
So it's not
Yep.
just something you buy once and get rid of. Now people actually want them, so they can break them down and get some more of these components.
Yeah.
also that dodges the problem of having the market just suddenly get flooded with these items
Uh-huh.
because
Yeah.
people are just doing a ton of this on release, which was a problem that haunted the original God Wars from
Oh, yeah.
beginning to
Built-in item sync right away.
pretty much
Yeah.
end.
Yep.
Um,
Very
in fact,
strategic.
It's the best way possible they could have introduced a non-degradable tier 80 because they did it right. They
Yep.
really, really did.
The only thing I wish is that we could have gotten some abilities because I feel like that's the
Yeah.
untapped potential for rewards. But
Very true.
Yeah.
that's just me. I
Yeah,
wish
like-
they would come out with quests more, but that's a side rant. That's a tangent.
I feel like in this case they kind of replaced the ability drops with perks, but
yeah, I would have loved some abilities.
Yeah, I would have loved
Add on
abilities
here.
too.
Yeah, I mean abilities is like the next step, but I can see why they may hold off till raids to do more abilities, because that seems like like that might just be raids. The raid thing is like that's raids drop abilities and
Yeah.
That would be
I
nice.
think it's honestly a bit of a shame because I do raids a lot. I like raids, but it's nice to have abilities come from elsewhere as well.
I do
Yes,
agree
and-
with that, though. Especially like I would really like if they made content specifically for each like type of ability. So get some defensive abilities from a tankier boss. Get these AoE abilities from the raids, for instance. That sort of thing would be very nice.
Yeah,
Alright.
and there's just so much potential for abilities from all these bosses because they have so much nice stuff. But let's keep going.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. So next up, we had the Easter event, which is rather
Whiskey and the Chocolate Factory.
Slisky and the Chocolate Factory,
Yeah.
indeed. It was.
Yep.
It was fun. It's funny.
It was very
loved it.
entertaining.
Yes.
It was everything that Beneath Cursed Tides should have been.
Yeah, the fact that they made it in under 2 months was really impressive to me. And it reused a lot of things. Like, this is something I would have loved for them to just keep in the game as a bottle quest, because it fits that kind of ticket.
Seems like
Yeah.
Did we get the
it's a common
the
theme.
Oompa Loompas?
For-
Oh, sorry.
That's a common theme for these recent holiday events. It's like,
Yeah,
man, this
I
would be
really
great.
wanted the penguin one to stay.
Yeah. Hey, go
Not just
Shiraki.
because penguins.
Yeah, go Shiraki.
Did we get the Oompa Loompa song as in our playlist? 'Cause that's really the most important part.
No,
for
we
me.
didn't
No,
because
because
of
it
copyright
infringes-
reasons.
It infringes on copyright.
Ah,
In
fantastic.
fact, Jagex was not allowed to add it to the music player because of that, and the BTS video that included the snippet of it got taken down with a copyright strike, which was amazing.
Wrecked.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not in your music player, but I'm sure you can find it on YouTube somewhere.
Yep, it's
I
all
already
over.
did. Well, of course I did. Why would I not
Gina, I
listen
need
to a
this.
song all about that?
I'm sure Gina has it like on repeat.
Gina, I need
Yeah.
it.
Gina hook Shiraki up.
Okay, I'll
That
get right on
moment in
that.
the quest, that exact moment was the part where I realized, I wish I did a Citrus edition.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I was like,
The,
wait, I should be recording this, shouldn't I?
That and the white chocolate were like the greatest things
Oh
ever.
my god.
What about the
This
chocolate?
entire thing
Chocolate.
was
The
glorious.
white chocolate pun made me so
Well,
happy.
It's like I knew it was coming from the very moment I heard the content of the quest, but
Yeah.
I didn't even consider it, so the fact that it happened, it kind of
well,
like
I'm gonna
shocked
say
me.
you're not
It was-
Gina.
it
That's
was-
I
why.
will say, I
Oh,
will
I'm not
ask,
Gina, yeah.
I will ask the question: did anyone not see that coming once they said white chocolate the first time? Did anybody
What?
miss
Yeah.
I mean,
miss that?
I thought
I-
for a
It
second,
wasn't
I
until the second mention that I really started going, wait a second.
at first I thought for a second, and then I thought, nah, they wouldn't do that.
I missed
It wasn't until the undead cow popped up that it really started clicking for me.
The cow, that was my favorite part.
Oh right,
That
the
Yeah.
cow.
Future
It
me.
was the biggest giveaway,
No,
like
actually,
undead, white.
And
yeah.
all that
missed
about
it,
feeling
and
transformed.
Oh,
Oh boy. Yeah.
I missed it, and then I made a racist joke about it, and then I realized what the joke is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the Easter event was
It was
hilarious.
wonderful.
The puzzle, I don't understand why there was complaining on the forums or on Twitter or on wherever it was, probably on Reddit too, because that's what people do on Reddit, right? They just complain about things.
Yes.
It was
I thought they
obviously the
only
best
downvoted
puzzle
me.
ever.
I still
Just because
can't
of the
handle.
picture.
I still can't handle anyone who plays RuneScape and still doesn't know how to do a fucking sliding puzzle. At this
Yeah,
point.
I
I
know,
know,
They
right?
have
all
no
the
sympathy for
complaint.
me.
The first one took me maybe 2 minutes max,
Yeah, the first
and there was
one.
like a group of 8 or 9 people standing around, all just screaming about how hard it was. So I walk up to the puzzle and go, really guys, it's not that hard. And they go, yeah, right. And then I finish it and start walking away, and then I told everybody like the tips about the best way to do it, and I moved on.
Yeah.
And there was a couple people really pissed that I basically strolled into the room, finished it, and strolled out while
That
they
was
were
the
just like
first
raging
one?
over.
Yeah, just the first
Yeah,
one, the
like
basic
the
slider
same
puzzle.
type as the clue.
Come on, man.
It was a clue scroll slider puzzle with a different picture. Like,
Oh.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, best picture ever.
And like
So
the
I wonder
secondary
how
one,
we got
yeah.
that commission in universe.
The
They did
secondary one, yeah, I can get it. It was a little trickier. But it was so clever and it was so much fun.
Yeah, I liked the second one just because it was
It was something different.
yeah, it was different because of the animated whatever, so you had to get everything in the right order. And a thing that I think is maybe a little bit overlooked with it, we talked about this last time, but
Yeah.
is that it ends in the middle. So the open
Yeah.
space is in the middle, which completely changes the way you solve it. Because with the clue scroll ones, you can generally just go top left to bottom right and just be like, and just kind of go shunk and be done. With this one, you had to
Yep.
actually solve it in a circle, which made it really kind of difficult and just a like. I can't do
Logical
this
sense?
exactly the
Yeah.
same way as I've always done it, so I need to
I-
think about this.
I
a little.
finished it and immediately was just like, man, I want this in like actual treasure trails. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't care if they
Well, I
keep the
mean-
animated thing, but
Yeah,
change
I wasn't exactly a fan of the animated part. There's a lot of waiting to say, wait, is this that piece or that other piece?
Yeah, that's
Every
true.
time.
I found it insane how many people didn't understand what was going on.
Have they never played Pipe Dream? Like, come on.
All I could think
That's what
was
I thought
because
before.
nobody played Bioshock. Like, the whole hacking in Bioshock was moving pipes too.
Well, okay.
So,
I'm a lot. I guess I'm a lot more old school because Pipe Dream.
Yeah,
Pipe
that's
what
Dream
I'm-
is old
No, I played
school.
Pipe Dream. I played Pipe Dream.
Pipe
I was
Dream
just
is-
trying to think of something like more modern that.
Oh,
all the
okay,
young
fair enough.
You guys
would
do
know.
realize that puzzle, like the pipe puzzle, is in RuneScape. Like it's actually in the game, Tower of Life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's right.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
That
actually.
is.
Yeah,
I
but
just
you're
realized
yeah,
not
but
wrong.
to be fair, Tower of Life I think is one of those quests that unless you're going for quest cape or comp, you never do because there's no reason. to
Spoiler
do
alert!
It.
It's on my top 10 worst as well. I think it's an awful
It
quest.
doesn't have.
Yeah.
It does. Tower of Life isn't required for any of the major later quests, is it? It's just not part
In
of any
fact-
quest line.
The only thing it is required for is Deadliest Catch and 3 Ardian tasks.
Okay, so Deadliest Catch is also terrible and also is not required for anything. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can see why.
But-
so if they've just like not done that, or it's been like 10 years and used a guide, then I can see why they're complaining. But still,
Excuse me. Deadliest
Speaking
Catch
of-
is required for 2 tasks, one in the desert and one in Taranwen. Those are
I
very
have-
important.
I have not done either of those. So
Taranwa tasks are super important. I'm just saying.
They really are. I agree with that. I think the quiver is
In
amazing.
all seriousness, discussing, just bringing up Tower of Life, this is just so random, but back in the day, I had like a huge theory that was like the Tower of Life guy is like an elder god or something.
Is that like the Easter
Let's
Bunny
be honest,
Lodge?
No, it makes perfect sense, and I even when I was
So-
like, the Stone of Jas was left in the Tower of Life because, and that's how he got the.
You ready for something really weird? Krondus and I noticed this when I was writing the top 10 worst, because we were adding the quest icons next to like the name of the worst one. Tower of Life's quest icon is a rune crafting altar.
Soul
There
Altar
are
confirmed.
no rune crafting altars in the Tower of Life.
No, there aren't.
And the best part
Anyways,
is
back on
it has
topic.
a symbol. That's a symbol that isn't on any quest or any runes. So it was weird.
Yeah, well,
Anyway,
Back on topic.
The elder goddess homunculus.
Yep.
Anyway.
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah,
Alternatively
that's,
known as Hom.
that is the Easter event in
Yeah.
relatively brief form. If you actually, I would say if you haven't done it, go do it now. But it is gone.
Gone.
Rip.
Rip.
I guess if you didn't go do it, go watch a YouTube of it or something because it is
Yeah.
highly amusing. One more thing before we move on: Titanium White that was a fantastic Bob Ross reference.
Yep.
It really was.
Actually, it was a real life reference.
It is also a real
too.
life reference, but we're gonna go with the Bob Ross
Yeah.
reference. Anyways,
And if anybody wants like any more discussion on this, I did like a 7.5 minute long review video, so go check that out.
sure.
It's out
All
there.
right. Anyways, last topic for today is going to be the April BTS, which features the Myrique finale. Huh?
It features Mounts.
I have not-
Oh yeah, Rip Shiraki.
Oh God.
I really wasn't expecting it this soon, but I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Myrique finale, River of Blood, is going to be released this month. They originally they didn't have requirements yet for it, but they do have a tentative list now, and I believe Fang
Requirement,
were
yeah.
They are
The one-
72 mining,
the one-
75 flying, 76 fire making, 78 attack, magic, and ranged, and 80 herb lore and constitution with Lord of Vampirium, Defender of Rock, and all fired up as quest requirements.
Yep.
I won't have any constitution by the time this quest comes out.
Lime, go.
This is the one upside of having to redo the Seercast.
Yeah, is that
Getting
we
this
get
requirement list.
yeah, we got a requirement list now. Yeah, that came. I think they talked about it on stream a little bit earlier this week, and they posted it all over Twitter, I believe, yesterday. We're recording this on a Wednesday, so I think
And immediately a bunch of us jumped on Rowley and were asking him to add level 90 requirements, and he's actually considering it.
And by a bunch of us, you mean like Hellring?
Me and Hellring and like 2 other people.
As I saw the back and forth between Hellring and Rowley and Stu, and I found that interesting.
And then Balustan jumped in and was actually 4 high-level requirements, which blew my mind.
Well,
He's for something?
there's the first
Yeah,
time for everything.
he was very much for like high-level requirements, like in the 90s, up to like 93 being added to quests.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then I spent like 3 hours of my life writing a comprehensive rework to quest tiers that not a single JMod appears to have looked at.
Rip. Yeah.
I read it,
Insert
Fang.
60 costume.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
Gina read it.
Wait,
We're
what?
good.
I read it.
That's good enough for me, really.
Even I didn't read it, Fang. I'm just letting you know.
I know.
But yeah, so also this month, we're gonna have little mini updates to go along with the Myrique finale. We have Memory of the Myrique, which you can build a statue in honor of the Myrique that died in the quest series, just for Siroki.
Oh, jeez.
And before you get too upset, Mod Rowley wrote and coded this and calls it a mini quest, so apparently it should be good.
Yeah, but it's Myrique,
Well.
so that means that Siroki's automatically like.
God.
You can hear it already.
Yep. You'll create statues for construction XP that will act like supercharged prayer altars, giving bonus prayer points when used. And there's an early bird to go along with it. There's also a Lost Toys update where there's 13 strange playthings, thanks for Avon, around the land of Mauritania. Collecting them all will unlock a new cosmetic reward and earn columbarium keys, because that's apparently still a thing. You also have a new
It
ghoulish...
seems like you actually get 13 of these overrides, like one of each of the pet, toys you find, because they posted concept art of all of them.
Mm.
No, columbarium keys are literally the most amazing thing ever.
They're
Everybody
actually quite
uses
valuable right now.
Really?
The problem is
Dang, I'm being
the higher
sarcastic.
logs are just also really valuable.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. There's also a new ghoulish crypt, which will have a new high-level ravenous ghoul, which will drop an item linked to the quest finale.
It sounds
Those are
really
also
cool.
graphical rework.
God damn it, Lime.
Damn it, Lime.
You thought you were going to get away this time, didn't you?
Can we feed Lime to the
Foiled
ghouls when they
again.
come out?
But yeah, Paterdomus is also going to be graphically reworked, and for Gina, there's going to be Shadow Realm rifts, which are time
I
limited
Those
think
are
that
out.
already started.
Those are already
Shadow
out.
Realm
Yeah, oh
rifts
right,
are
those are already
exciting.
up.
Gina
Paterdomus
still
looks
cannot
really,
into
really
Shadow
good.
Realm.
Paterdomus looks really, really good, and it's going to look even better in NXT, which we almost forgot to mention.
No,
It's coming
we
out
haven't
on the 18th.
almost forgot to mention. We're going to mention that
We just-
right now. So
Yeah.
There, it's been mentioned.
NXT will be released on the 18th, so everyone get your hype trains ready. Choo choo.
It's going to happen.
I didn't get to
We
unlock
think
one
it's
of
going to
those.
happen before. We think
It
it's
is
going to happen
guaranteed.
before.
No, they
It is
confirmed
happening before that has been confirmed.
Okay.
Yes, it's
confirmed
happening
it.
before Rite of
Rite
Passage.
is the 25th.
Yeah, it is in fact happening before Rite of Passage.
Everything is before Rite of Passage.
I do.
Speaking of, there's an account on Twitter now. Every time it sees someone mention Rite of Passage, it just posts that Rite of Passage been delayed another month.
That
I'm
is-
actually a little disappointed that this quest was called River of Blood instead of Rivers of Blood.
I messed up. I messed up.
Oh
No,
my
no,
God.
Fang, it just needs to be called Rivers of
But-
Pain.
But
It's
yes,
not even a
there we
silly
go.
title,
hold on.
and it's
I
still.
don't mind blood. It's kind of fun to say.
But yeah, anyways, so yeah, NXT
Rivers of
is
Fluid.
going to be released this month. This month is probably the only thing Siroki cares about this month.
Yeah. There's also
Absolutely,
that-
Actually.
There's
Oh.
also that mini quest that goes with it called Benedict's World Tour,
Yes.
and it's been revealed that Benedict is a talking pack yak.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
I'm not
Oh.
kidding.
What?
So it's
Yeah.
literally
They-
Presleek's.
Thanks.
Oh my
Yeah, it's
God.
like
Yeah,
Prez
it's
League's
basically
characters are-
Presleek's pack yak. I
Ask for
thought it was a
where are the
joke
best
at
places
first.
in
This is
NXT.
okay.
But I saw it on Twitter yesterday,
Yeah,
and I just couldn't
this
stop.
is all okay.
This is fine. Yeah.
Baru.
Very happy with this.
But yeah, Benedict's World Tour is a mini adventure designed to take you to Gielinnor's most wondrous sights. It will require NXT to complete. And while we're on the topic of NXT, I will mention that Jascertes actually changed his name to NXT
Yes, I did.
because
you did
No,
that?
it's
It's a bit
NXT.
of a pun, though.
You actually did. Wow.
Well, it's a
E
yeah.
N E X T E A
Yes.
NXT.
It's a healthy alternative to coffee, Java coffee.
Oh,
Well, it's a superior beverage, of course.
But yeah, it's I think
have you set yourself to the real as your title?
Oh, I should.
yeah, you need to right now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I think everybody's looking forward to NXT. We've been looking forward to it for 18 months since they teased it
Yep.
2 Runefests ago.
In Feb.
Yeah,
Honestly,
and it's
I'm more looking forward to all the bugs that are going to come with it. Just because that's
Yeah.
funny.
all the random crashes. But
Oh yeah, that too.
but yeah, the
Oh my god. No, Jascertes, you have to get the MVP title so you can be NXT the MVP.
Oh,
Maybe.
jeez.
Yeah.
But
That would be a good one.
but yeah,
Alright,
so
anyway, yeah.
so NXT is coming this month. Is coming before River of Blood, which means that that the Citrus Edition and my
It's
Quest
gonna be-
video will be done in NXT because oh yes,
And
It's
Paternomus
beautiful.
is gonna look amazing.
oh yeah.
And it seems
Yeah.
like they've actually finished all of the like masking things for islands that are too close.
Ooh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, because they were
And
they
there
were
should be
tweeting
a
out some pictures
screenshot.
of that.
There could be a screenshot of that right here.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is the briefest
Also-
Seercast that we could come up with for as much stuff as we did want to cover. I'm proud of you guys. It makes me do work. Thanks, Lime. I'm proud of you
welcome.
guys for keeping this under 7 hours.
Woo!
But
Yeah.
We know
I
that
didn't keep my dinner after that hierarchy section.
Walter's not going to know that it's under 7 hours because everything's reaching him at a delayed rate.
right. This is true.
Oh,
Walter's
6 hours later,
podcast
alright guys, I
is
think
out.
we're finished now.
Wait, but I thought that it was only Siroki that works in milliminutes.
No, but Walter's on Pluto, so there's the
Okay.
light speed
Oh, I'm
delay.
sure- yeah.
Oh, did Walter move?
Yeah, speaking of Walter, we have discovered he has moved from the moon and is now on Pluto.
Anyways,
They have high-res pictures, and I saw him on his front porch, actually.
Yep.
I like the haircut.
It is confirmed, but sure we'll get a screenshot or a Photoshop picture of that at some point. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this Seercast. We didn't go quite as in depth into a lot of the things as we did on our last take. So if you want anything more in depth about really anything that we talked about today, just let us know on Twitter at Seercast or in the YouTube comments whenever this gets up on YouTube. Our next Seercast will almost certainly be after River of Blood, although maybe it might be for NXT.
Ugh.
But probably after River of Blood.
Probably for blood.
Yeah. Just because it's probably going to be 1 week after another, so just go ahead and do that. Sorry, Siroki, you probably won't be here for that anyway.
Well, I probably won't be here for like another 10 months. So
Yeah, I
who
know.
knows?
But yeah, so that's going to be our next one. So yeah, stay tuned. Is there anything coming down the pipeline for either you, Fang, or Lime?
I am just about done writing a review for the first 10 quests in the game as part of my ongoing commitment to writing a review for every quest that has ever been released.
Okay, Lime.
Including the ones that are no longer in game.
No, I'm ignoring those. Those don't exist.
What a shame.
Okay.
We will never see what you thought. of
I
Romeo and
might-
Juliet.
I've got a ton of side projects, but God Wars Dungeon 2 hopefully, maybe at some point soon. If not, I'll try and get a another rune tome out. It might be the Saradomin rune tome, in which the script has been sitting in my desktop for a while now,
And
waiting
in my
for a chance
and
to
in
come
my
out.
Google Drive.
No. I have a new script for it,
Ah.
and I think it's better.
I think
Okay.
you
Yeah,
guys-
Lime Crondus and I were gonna do like a crossover between Rune Secrets and Rune Tomes, but then when we went
But then-
trying to find actual lore mysteries about Saradomin, we kind of failed.
Yeah, and they told me
So
that I
instead,
need to change
Crondus
the
wrote a
topic. So
thing
instead,
about Saradomin's beard, so that worked.
Fair enough.
instead they decided to do this whole thing about what is it, Timican rebuilding. So I did one on Al-Qarid, and I've still got the script sitting in my desktop. So I'm gonna release it some point soon.
Good.
Yay!
All right. Well, I think
Great.
that covers everything we wanted to mention for today. Hope everybody enjoyed it, and we will see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Or like months from now.
Okay.
Bye.
Later.